We should be live.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Marla Billinghurst, and I will be chairing the meeting this morning. With me on the panel are Ms. Michelle Duncan, Mr. Robert Hutchings,
Morning.
Mr. Jason Robertson, who is the secretary. The assessor this morning is Ms. Marina Tenuara. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 2, 3, and 7 on our docket today. Mr. Robertson, please affirm the assessor's and applicant's testimony. Thank you.
Madam Assessor, please state your full name.
Morina Gantika Tenora.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Rocky Neufeld.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Hey, Ms. Tenuara,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
please proceed. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I guess I should start with, the first matter we will be hearing this morning is number 2 on this morning's docket, 939 Notre Dame Avenue. My apologies. Okay, please.
No problem. Thank you, Madam Chair. Property address is 939 Notre Dame Avenue. Today, I'm seeking non-compliance penalty on this property. Reason why, this property, we have sent the income expenses mailer for the property owner. The address we send it to property owner's address, not the location, Notre Dame Avenue. This is single tenant occupant building. This property sold in 2017, December. I checked all the history where we send the non-compliance penalties and the other, or where we send all the other tip letters and everything. Before we sold this property, we sent it to Notre Dame Avenue address because that was the requested from the previous owner. After the property sold, that means after 2017, we have sent everything to King Edward address. I can send the address we have sent it to. 62 King Edward Street, Winnipeg, Manitoba, R38 0P2. We have sent it to Computer Plus Limited, which is the property owner. As for legislation, we are sending all the income expenses mailer and all the tax notice and everything to the owner. We have sent it to the owner, but this property is a single tenant building. So today I'm seeking non-compliance on this property. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. This page, sorry, I'm just looking for the page number here. Oh, I guess your brief hasn't marked page numbers. I'm looking at it's the 19th page, and it's the letter. Well, that's the French letter. 18th page, and the English letter. Was this? This is a copy of the letter sent out, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and this response on the
Mr. Neufeld, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm not finding that page on my SharePoint.
yeah, I now I see that
Okay.
the numbering is 1, 2.
I can explain why. If
Oh,
it's, I accidentally submit the wrong briefs originally. It addressed as a 6. It is totally my typo or my oversight error. 939 Notre Dame Avenue. But lately I did the late submission, corrected subversion of 939 Notre Dame Avenue. I hope board members and applicant to have it, because I checked it with Anthony Newton. He told he got the copy. It's a late submission because I submit mixed match docket briefs originally. But either one is fine with me, if you see.
Let me just take a look to make sure we used the correct one here. 'Cause I might have sent the wrong one. This is for okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump this into the SharePoint now. I'm not sure if this is the right one or not, but
939 Notre Dame Avenue.
yes, this one's labeled revised. We'll
Yes.
see if there's a difference. It's faster if I just dump it in than if I give it to you guys.
Yeah, because mine ended at page 7 for that.
Stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because mine went to page 25.
Yeah, that's the two. I accidentally dumped combined two docket briefs together and sent it as a one
So
docket.
the one that you are asking for, the revised one, should have 28 pages in total.
I don't have a page number.
I put it in the folder. It's labeled file 22-3092 A&T revised brief.
Yep, got it. It's on the
Got it?
share. It's on the SharePoint.
Yeah.
There we go. I got it. Yeah. Mr. Hutchings?
I'm gonna have to open it up in the browser and see if
Mr. Neufeld, you have the revised version?
I have both of them.
You have both? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Wrong
clarify.
one is the
for me
wrong
which one.
one.
It appears the revised version is 28 pages. At least that's what I have. Ms. Duncan, is that what?
I don't have the numbering on it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the updated one that just got put in. Let me see if there's a page number at the bottom. Are your pages numbered?
no, they're not numbered. It
My
just says
only main
one of
pages are
28.
7 and all the addendums are not numbered.
I have the updated one.
Okay, good.
and I also have. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchings. Okay, sorry. Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your questions. Sorry about that.
Okay, so for some reason, I'm not getting, I just found it, but, okay, so then my first question is, when did you send this revised brief?
As I remember, Tuesday. I sent it Tuesday, but if you don't want to use it, I'm totally fine with it. Even my wrong one has enough information. It's totally up to the board to make a decision. I'm okay with either way.
Yeah, no, I just, so around the November 20.
Came in November 22nd at 1:56 p.m.
Okay,
That's
that's
right.
what I was looking for. Okay. And the information, well, I'm just going to look at the original one because that one was served in enough time, and to be fair to the taxpayer, that's the one, you know, as an official notice, that's the one that we should look at. And I'm fine with the information being
Mr.
presented.
Newfeld, I'm fine with either way. I don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's, and so now I'm looking at the original one,
Sure.
and
Okay, so
I'd
wait,
ask,
we're going back to the,
yeah,
okay, 1 second. Okay, has everyone gone back to the original one?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Mr. Hutchings?
And let's see. Sorry. There we are. Yeah. Yeah, that would be the 25 pager, but it actually has documents from 941 Corden Avenue. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Yes, I've got it. Thank you.
But it has the first 7 pages belongs to Notre Dame Avenue. I accidentally put another brief onto the same brief. Starting the first 7 pages are the exact same thing. Both.
Okay, well, Neufeld, are you able to proceed with your questions?
yes, I am. Well,
Oh, okay.
now I'm going to the signature page, which on the first brief was the 15th page.
Okay,
And I'm just, did you look at the signature here? To me, it doesn't appear to match the name on the document. Do you see that?
Which one? Because we don't know who is accepting the letter. Because when you go to that address, it could be someone working there. I don't know which address belongs to which person. That's a very difficult question for me to answer. That signature belongs to which person? Someone in that location at that time.
Right, but it was served on them, and so I'm just asking you if you can read the signature on that page.
I cannot.
Okay.
I cannot, but this is the signature card we have. When the Canada Post provided us the signature card, we have to rely on that signature card. That's all I know.
And you're marking this date as June 10th, is that correct? Delivery?
Yes.
Those are my questions, thanks.
thank you very much. Duncan, do you have any questions for the assessor?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchings, do you have any questions for the assessor?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. So Mr. Neufeld, please proceed.
I did email in our response to the penalty, and you can refer to it. I'll just verbally give you our issue, and then you can refer to the documents. The first document I sent was called closures, and that's just that shows that on May, I believe it was May 12th of
Oh,
20.
sorry to
So-
stop. I need to find that.
I haven't transferred that yet. Mr. Neufeld.
Oh, okay.
We just received it. So if the panel doesn't mind, I'll take a 2-minute recess to download this.
Oh,
Are all 4 documents part of this hearing?
that's correct.
Okay, one moment. We are live.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, I believe you were up.
Yes, thank you. And I'll be very brief. I just sent you the documents just as printed backup. But the one marked closures indicates that businesses in Manitoba were shut down May 12th for the 3rd wave of COVID, and the orders were lifted in the beginning of July. So at the time that the assessor was sending out notices, this business was shut, locked, closed. The signature on the document is not legible. It matches no one who's at the location at all. The actual person who's this would be receiving this is named Debbie Batista. She's one of the family members who owns the property. The signature, I can't decipher it. It looks to me like it's A something, JBFOR. And it doesn't match the name that's listed above. And I submit that it was never received. Additionally, and I know this is a new hearing, and I know that what happened in previous hearings is of interest but not binding, but the same issue did come up a few days ago. And the other document marked November 21 penalty cases, it has summaries of decisions made on an identical issue, identical presentation, identical response, same owner, same address, 1376 Winnipeg, and 943 Notre Dame, which is next door to the subject property. It was the same issue. In that particular case, the board did not allow the penalty. And lastly, the 2 case laws that Mr. Mercury advised me to send in, and I repeat, I am not a lawyer. I'm just doing this on his advice. They just indicate issues when there's issues with service that the penalty should not be considered. And last point was that there appears also to be some confusion on the original submission, and I mean nothing negative by this. It just happens sometimes. I know that the assessor has sent a replacement value brief, and you know, that's kind of unfair to the taxpayer who should be notified in enough time when there are changes, but especially for a penalty issue. I'm not disputing it as to the value issues. That's fine. I can live with those in short notice. It's just a replacement order, just on the service of documentation would be an additional hindrance. That's really all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Assessor, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld on this?
I have 2 questions. Signatory name is it Daniel Stefanski? It's in the signature card. That's all I can see. I cannot read the signature, but signatory name is there.
Right.
I don't know about the any of the person that name work in that location or not, but that's all I can see. Do you see that name too in the signature card?
Well, that's your evidence, and that's what I was asking, if this signature matched the name that was provided, and it does not. You don't have to be a handwriting expert to tell that.
Because my question to you, Mr. Neufeld, do you believe the Canada Post work?
Do I what?
Do you believe the Canada Post does their work?
That's the word.
That's all the question I can ask, because I don't know when Canada Post send it to us as evidence, we have to believe it.
Well, I've seen a number of these mailers in the last short while coming back with non-signatures or signatures that are scribbles, and then there's a name put in at the last hearing. For example, they put in a name of FD agent, and so they're not. I think during COVID that they're not doing their service properly. I think that when you're hearing from people is that. And other assessors have said it as well, that they're not getting the same service as prior to COVID, that they're not doing the personal delivery. So, I can't comment. I don't know why this doesn't match, but all I can say is it does not match. And that's kind of a rule of evidence rather than a question. Yes, they could be incompetent. Yes, it could be an error in the assessment department. It could be a number of things, but it's not, does not carry enough weight to impose a penalty.
But this is actually a side note. The signature could be anything. It could be the face, it could be something. It does not have to be their person's name. Do you believe so?
No, that's entirely incorrect. It has to match. It has to be. This is service. There's rules for service. There's Manitoba laws for service. Service is an important factor, and it's the basis of all the disputes for these penalty filings. It's always the same thing. Was proper service done? And when you read the case laws, that's what they focused on. If there is a penalty, the service must be beyond reproach in order to stand.
Okay, the other question. I heard about your comment about my briefs. So my apology for the I did some mistake on my briefs. You used the first brief I submitted. Is that correct? You used my wrong brief for.
Sorry, I referred to the first brief because
Yeah,
that was the one
which is the wrong brief.
Does
it has all the information to talk about this property?
It has a fair bit of information, and as I said, it's not an indication of the lack of information. It's kind of an information about the breakdown in preparation and service. Again, I think it's got to be done right, or you shouldn't consider it. So I think it introduces confusion because you have, and I'm not using this to pick on anyone. It's important that we get served in enough time. That's all. And it talks about 939 Notre Dame, and then it talks about 941 Corridon, and then it introduces the request for a penalty. So and then the penalty address for service is not Corridon, it's not Notre Dame, it's on King Edward.
But it's the owner's address is the King Edward, because that's the address for the owner. That's the Notre Dame.
Yes,
I'm telling.
Yeah, and I believe we understand that. And
Okay.
Follow this.
That's all my question, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
Yeah, Mr. Neufeld, do you know if this Daniel Stefansolski or whatever is connected to the property at all? Is that name familiar to you?
It was not familiar to me, no. I did find out about him, who he was later, and if you want to see a copy of his signature, I have a copy of it, and I can forward that to the board.
So who is he then?
I believe he was working at Computers Plus.
So he was an employee of the.
Yes.
That's my only question.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchings. Any questions?
Yes, just I'm curious, Mr. Neufeld. Are you saying if the signature does not match, if an agent for the company accepts or signs for it, you're saying that the proof of delivery is only valid if matches the name on the delivery signature?
Well, I think that's in the, Matt, you're asking me a law question here, but there's an act on service, and yes, they're supposed to match. You can't serve the wrong person and then not even have the right signature. And I just sent Mr. Which I got this yesterday, Mr. Sorry, it's Mr. Stefanovsky's signature. I just sent that to you. And I obtained this just recently.
Yeah, I'm just receiving it now.
I guess, Mike, it's a general question that if the signature does not match the delivery signature required, then you consider it not delivered.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions, so we are going to recess right now to discuss the matter of the request for non-cooperation.
Okay, and I did send this signature, and if you want to look at that before or not after, it's your call.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld.
Okay.
All right. We're live.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. The board has decided that we will not be allowing the request for non-cooperation based on the fact that the business was closed due to COVID. So, Ms. Tenwara, please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today I'm making a recommendation on this property. I think everyone already received the recommendation. I'm making a recommendation to reduce value to $393,000. I want to know about Mr. Neufeld would like to accept the recommendation or not before I proceed.
Mr. Neufeld?
Yes, I've looked it over, and yes, we are in agreement with it.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. I'm just making a note for 1 minute, please. Thank you. Sorry, it's Friday. I seem to have trouble spelling this morning. It's been a long week. All right. Okay, so I guess we will move on to the next matter on the docket, which is 873 Portage Avenue. Ms. Tenwara, please proceed when you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Roll number 3030828000. Property address 873 Portage Avenue. Property owner 4034490 Manitoba Limited. This property valued for $572,000 for this title. This property we marked as the store, built in 1929 originally. Effective age is 1963. Property plan area is 4,018. Property has a basement area of 3,542 square feet. My page number 2 showing where the location. It's located in the Portage Avenue. And you can see the picture of the property, face picture of the property. And you will see the rent comparables. My rent comparables is a vary from $9.22 to $24.45. That's the rental rates in that area. It's vary based on the location, quality, and the tenant and everything. This property has 3 units. One unit used as a restaurant, which is $14.13 we used. And one unit, as I believe, it's own occupied. The other one is unit is the tenant. The 2 units we consider the C2 usual retail units, and capitalization rate is 7.55. Original value is 572,000. Based on the comparable rents, my rents we use in the lower side of rents. That area has $17. Most of the rents are $17. Newer rents also. Our rents seems to be reasonable with the range of lower range of the Portage Avenue rents. Capitalization is the higher end of 7%, almost 8%, 7.55. Based on all of this information, I'm asking to confirm the value as it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I hope I got the page numbers right in this case. Now, let me see. We've got 12 total pages. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm looking for the rent roll here. You've only got the statement listed, but not the rent roll. Was it missing, or?
That's all they provided to us.
You're saying that's all they provided. All right. Then on page 11, they're indicating no vacant space, but income of only $37,000 gross. Do you see that? Oh, wait a second. I know what the problem here is. Why is this a 22 statement?
Sorry?
Why is this from 2022?
It's a 2021 income statement. Its receipt date is May 5, 2022.
How do we know that without the rent roll? It's just that I have a different a version here. Okay, so yes, that's my question. How do we know what the 12 months ending was?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Your page 11 and 12, how do we know what fiscal year this was for?
I didn't get your question correctly. As I know, that's the rent roll we received from the owner. That's all I could tell you for this one, because no any other pages.
Well, it's dated April 25th, 2022. The reference date was April 1st, 2021. How do we know what fiscal year this is for? It is not marked anywhere, and there's no rent roll to indicate what was in effect.
But this is the rent roll because this due date is May 5th, 2022. But they are supposed to submit us for 2021 rent roll. That means 2021 income expenses made January 1st to December 31st. We are requesting it in May 5th, 2022 is the due date. Owner sent it to us on April 25th, 2022, which is within the correct date. I don't understand what the question is.
Where's the fiscal year statement on this? Where does it tell us that it's for the right period?
That's on top of there, it says City of Winnipeg Assessment and Taxation Department 2021. Property Income Expenses questionnaire. Is that the question you're asking?
Well, but the response on page, you know what,
Okay, if you go to page number 8, if you go to the cover letter, we send it to the assessment department. It stated, we are currently collecting information regarding operating statement ending 2021 or with year end date of closest to April 1st, 2022. It's in the second sentence, second paragraph, with one sentence in the letter, cover letter.
yes, that's what I'm saying, is you're asking them for information from the end of 21 or the beginning to April 1st, 2022. This is not the reference year, is it? This is the wrong return, isn't it?
Our reference year is 2021.
Right. You put in the wrong mailer, haven't you? I'm sorry, that was a question, but if you have no response, I think it's apparent here that this is the wrong mailer. It's
Okay, well, Mr. Field, you can address that in
Yeah,
your
that's-
narrative,
I'm-
but do you have any other
exactly.
questions for Ms. Tenor?
Now, based on what you have submitted, you're saying that they've actually reported $37,000 in income with a net loss of $12,000, or sorry, an operating income of $12,000, and you have provided a value of $49,000. Did you not consider the mailer?
This is the model-driven valuation. We don't consider the mailer every property because we ask the question. They send the mailer as a partial, and it's the gross rent. This is the net rent, and it's a partially unoccupied building. My valuation here, our valuation here is today is a totally model-driven valuation. It's 572,000.
Okay, so
And
you
it
didn't
is supported
compare
by
it.
comparable rents, and
But
these rents are within the comparable rent.
Okay,
Rate.
but you did not compare the model driven to the actual income then, did you?
I did not.
Okay.
Mhm.
And your comparables on page 3, I know that they range from 922 to 2445. Are you aware that your bottom rent is a gross rent? That's 912 Portage Avenue.
It could be, but it's a $24 range. But I put the rental rates range. I'm not relying on that range. This has the 2 outliers. 24.45. It's a total outlier. $9.22 also an outlier. If we consider the other 10 other rents, we are in the range of rents, and we are in the bottom line of the $13 range. This is the range. I did not go through each and every one is compare.
Is there a does the subject have parking?
This subject, I don't know. It seems to be it's a facing Portage Avenue. I did not know about the back lane parking, but it seems to be, if you see the map in there, it's there's a small square. It could use for the owners to park, or it could use for the business people to park. I don't know, but it's facing the Portage. It seems to be it does not have enough parking.
Now, I am quite familiar with 912 Portage. It's got a large parking area in the front of it, doesn't it?
It does have a large parking area?
Yes, it has parking up front for the customers. Are you aware of that?
Where is the parking lot?
For 912 Portage.
Mr. Newfeld's referring to one of the comparables.
Oh, you are talking about the, yeah, I'm totally disregard the 912 Portage. It has a $24.45 because the subject property does not collect that much of rents. It's $14, $12, and $13. I believe $24 rent just has a parking lot. Yes, it's totally true. If that's why they're collecting higher rents.
Yeah, but I was also referring to the comparable, the fourth comparable, and the fifth comparable, which are also 912 Portage.
Yeah, it's a small sushi set restaurant, but this rent is very comparable to your subject property rent. It has a sub restaurant, it's $14.13, and this sushi place has $13.70 rents. It's very close. I believe it's close enough.
And your comparables, the last, the 939 Portage and 943 Portage, you're aware that they have large parking areas to the rear of their property?
No, I don't know. I did not go and check those information.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, do you have any questions for the assessor on her evidence?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hutchings, any questions for the assessor on her evidence?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Can the assessor please tell me on page 4 what your blended rent is?
Page 4 blended rent. Okay, I need to calculate. $13.88.
I'm sorry, $13.18
Yes, that's right. 18
Okay.
blended.
Thank you. That's my only question.
Thank you very much. I have no questions at this time. So Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your presentation.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, and I apologize for that earlier questioning. It's just that I noticed that the assessor was using the wrong mailer. We have the appropriate mailer for the period on page 3, and it shows a negative net income operating, and that's because they expensed the roof repair. They were clear about that. No misdirection there. There's a missing page. It actually says that it was for roof repair. So we have disregarded that $18,834 in our calculation of the income. And also the rent roll is shown below, and there are 2 tenants and there is 1 owner occupant. This is owned by the Gondola Pizza people. They occupy one of the units and they indicate no rent. You'll notice that they have checked off net lease below in the rent roll, but on the top they have indicated gross. These are gross rents or semi-gross rents. The units are separately metered, but the costs are the taxes, snow removal, professional fees, and insurance that are charged to the property and absorbed by the landlord in his semi-gross leases. So I think that it's the sort of thing where I can't make a decent pizza, and I wouldn't expect Gondola Pizza to understand the difference between gross and net rates on this. That's the problem when you ask a business owner for an interpretation that's best left to professionals. It is semi-gross leases. Now, we had calculated out the rents on the semi-gross leases and then extrapolated them to add in the gondola. And on page 1, you can see our workup and how we've taken the revenue of 37,000 reported, added in 13,000 for gondola, which is the same rent as Liberty Tax, same size unit, and then subtracted the the allowable expenses, which will not including the roof. So that's $22,000. Net income is $27,000, and that's what we've applied on here. That comes to $735 a square foot paid rent. And the differences on this site versus other sites is page 1. Parking is there are at the back there is room for 2 cars plus a garbage can. And yes, you could put tandem behind it, but that's not paid parking. That's this is also loading zone for the businesses as well. There's no customer parking as a and you know when you can think of a frontage store with comparing it to, you can't compare it to a strip mall. It's a different animal. And then when we went to compare it to the market, there's actually a very perfect comparable on my page 4 and 961 Portage. This is a block away. It's the same setup, storefront, 1,800 feet at $789 a square foot. A little bit of parking at the rear for loading and the employee. I said employee because there's only one stall. Employees if they carpooled. So I think the rent stands up on this basis in the market. Now the rest of the parameters, you'll note that we use a different vacancy rate than the assessor, a lower one, and a slightly different shortfall rate and a slightly lower cap rate. I don't think any of the factors that follow are really pertinent to the calculation, because although we have expenses, we've also capped it lower and put a lower vacancy on it. So I think that the rest of the parameters are not worth discussing. It's just the rent difference. That's all. It's generating $27,900, approximately $28,000 potential income. And the model has put $49,000 on it. And I think that that's a mistake that's based on comparing it to strip malls when it's storefront. Thank you. It's my presentation.
Sorry, 1 minute, please. Madam Assessor, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld on his evidence?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Neufeld, which year we are talking about for the assessment? 2023 evaluation, right?
We're looking at the April 1st, 2021 as a reference period.
Reference date. April 21st, 2021 reference date. Then what is the rent roll year we should consider?
Sorry,
the income, what is the income expenses made we should consider for this cycle?
Well, we should consider the one that was due May 6, 2021 that I'm showing on my page 3, because it was the appropriate one for the period. That mailer, and I think that in the previous hearing you showed a cover letter from there, and it would have said all the expense and rent information up to April 1st, 2021, not the one that you have in your report. And having said that, you will also note that the rents didn't change between those 2 years. So that's why I thought about it later, like, okay, you got the wrong one in there, but it really doesn't matter. It hasn't changed.
Okay. If I consider your rent roll, the first unit is the rent is $16.92 per square feet. They mark as a net lease. Is it right?
No, and that's what I said. That's why on the form above they mark it as a gross income.
But it's because it's a gross income, because it's a partially owned occupied property.
No, I know how they prepared this. I've discussed it with Derek, who's the principal, and Noah. I don't just take these and guess what they put on them. I call them and contact them. And the answer is simple. They're experts in pizza, not appraisal. They don't understand the question. They fill in these blocks below, and that's the extent of their knowledge. But when they put up the income statement, that's the tool that tells you whether it's net or gross, not whether they check marked something wrong. We look at the numbers, and that's the true test. The only thing that's missing on the numbers above is a rent attributable to the envelope.
And you are telling me everything in information is here correct. They mark check boxes are wrong. They check the wrong check boxes instead of net rent. I understand why they put a gross rent, because it's a partially owner-occupied property. All the partially owner-occupied property we consider as a gross rent because it's a partially owner-occupied. Even the chart, you are telling me it's all the accidentally uninformed check boxes.
Well, with all due respect, I think you're imposing a different standard on people.
No. You are the one telling me about they don't know what they are doing.
Well,
and I'm just asking the information you provide me. I'm not. We believe those information are correct.
No, that's called sharp practice. That's looking for a mistake made by somebody who didn't know what they were being asked and then relying on it to indict them. And that's not how it's supposed to be done here. What the true test is we have two different methods of reporting check marks. So you want to know the truth, you do two things: look at the numbers, or you contact the person. There's a phone number on here where you can contact the person to clarify it instead of just guessing that they put it in wrong. And I'm just looking at your form, Derek Lowen, that's the person I just mentioned, and he's given you his phone number and his email address. And he will clarify the situation for you rather than just make an assumption that's incorrect.
That's all question I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Hutchings?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Neufeld, just a small question here. Where does the assessor using a shortfall of $7, you're using $706. Where would that come from?
Oh, well, we calculated an actual shortfall.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's a minor variance.
Yeah, understood. Okay, thank you. That's my only question.
Okay, thank you. I have no questions. So is there a need for a summary from either party on this property?
I'm good, Madam Chair. I don't need summary.
Thank you, Mr. Neufeld.
Yes, I'm not feeling very well right now. I think I just ate something bad this morning.
Sorry to hear that.
So my bad attitude, if I have one, it's not meant to be personal.
Do you need a brief recess for a minute?
I'm going to carry through, and I wasn't even supposed to be here because I have to move to another hearing, and
Yes.
they're not waiting for me. I think I'm scheduled a bit later, and I'll have some time off then. But I think just the issue here is fairly simple. That this is a gross misapplication of rent on the wrong property type. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will move on to the next matter then, which is 925 Corridon Avenue. Ms. Tenuara, please proceed when you are ready.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Property roll number 120230444100. Property address 925 Corridon Avenue. Today I'm presenting a recommendation for this property using $15 and you will see my calculation sheets, and my recommendation is 455,000, value reduced to 455,000. I would like to know Mr. Neufeld would like to accept the recommendation.
Sorry, I'm just getting to your, everything's been filed by roll number, so I just opened up the original here.
My original valuation is 547,000.
Right, and
Mr. Neufeld? You okay?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm just,
Oh, you looked like you were falling over. Sorry.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm multitasking. 3250. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that our information that we presented, I have to, oh, I see what he's done. No, we're not. Sorry, let me just double check this. We're a little bit off still, but we made a mistake in ours as well. And so the assessor can go ahead and proceed.
Okay, sure. My recommendation, based on this, okay. I'll turn to page number 2. Page number 2, you will see the property where it's located, and it's the academic florist use that building. They use that business use the entire building. It has the 2 premises, main floor and the basement. Basement used by florists, and we use the 2 different ranges for my recommendation. Main floor at $15 per square feet and basement at $3.36 per square feet. When I use a blended rate for the entire unit, blended rate is $16.39 using only the main floor area, which is in the market level of corridor area. You can see my rent comparables. All the rent comparables are higher than $16.39. It is a range. I did not go through all the facilities to see about which has a parking, which doesn't have parking. I can't speak to those kind of matters. But all of those are located in the Corridor Avenue, facing Corridor Avenue, and rent range $16 to $32 of range. Based on that range, our blended rates of $16.39, which is appropriate for this property, using that range and using parameters, and we have. I use the 7% and 7.25% for cap rate. Today, my recommendation to reduce value to $455,000 using those information. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld. Do you have questions for the assessor?
Yes, I do. Again, looking at pages. I'm looking at the income and expense mailer again. This would be page 11, I think. You'll note that it says 12 months ending December 31st, 2021. Is this not post-reference information?
Ms. Tenora?
Is it a question?
Yeah.
You mean my mailer is the post reference?
Yes, I asked, is this not post-reference information?
I attached the mailer for we received May 5th, 2022. In my knowledge, this is not the post reference, but it's
sorry, why would you say it's not post-reference? That's 8 months after 9 months after the reference date. Is my math correct? 9 months after the reference date?
Yeah, your math is correct because I'm confused about this one. Yeah, then if you want to claim it, this one, it's a post reference, you can claim it.
Well, it's the same issue as the last one. You've introduced a post-reference statement. On page, I guess it's 13. There's a rent roll, and you see the revenue from here. This is a multi-roll property, but the first line marked unit number 925. You see that?
Can you ask the question again, Mr. Newfield?
On page 13, the rent roll. This is a multi-roll rent roll, but you see the line number, the first one that's marked 925, unit number, Academy Florists.
Yes.
And they're claiming monthly rent $32.50 plus $12,000 in recoveries. Is there any other rent they're claimed for the basement?
That's why I told it's that this bill, Academy Florists use the main floor and the basement. They only pay rent based on the main floor, but they use the main floor and basement. My overall blended rate is $16.39 because they use the basement. We have basement rents used for the calculation, but overall blended rent is $16.39. They have the basement, but they only lease for the entire unit. They need to include the basement. That's why it's a 2,300 square feet in rent roll. But my main floor is 2,300. My financial gross rent divided by 2,300, I get $16.39 overall blended.
Well, why didn't you submit the proper mailer?
This is what they you ask. Yeah, I'm going to go and search those ones. I might do the mistake when I print those ones. I'm going to go and do the search those ones. I might print the wrong one. But I did not do purposely because I don't have intention to do purposely. But I was thinking, when I'm talking, I'm thinking why it had happened. I'll go and check.
Well, had you looked, are you aware what the correct mailer states for their income and expenses?
But Mr. Newfell, I will ask question this way. Forget about all the mailer information. Just focus on the academic florists, what they reported. Then the lease started in 2013. It's a month-to-month rent. They are paying month-to-month rent as the 1,200. No, sorry. Monthly rent is 3,280 monthly rent from 2013 May 1st. If we only focus on these things, we can calculate the rental rates per square feet, either gross or net.
Well, that now, but does it say anywhere that those are net rates?
They are paying 12,000 annual general administrative recoveries. I don't know what that means, what does it cover, but the way they reported annual general recoveries are 12,000.
Well, but had you submitted the right mailer, you would have probably had those numbers, correct?
Yes, of course, but it might not be the different than this mailer because that's the rent period is starting 2013, May 1st, and month to month rent and paying this much. This is the amount. But if you really wanted to point out my mistake, you can do that. So I'm totally fine. But here we need to focus on what they actually reported in the mailer.
Well, I don't disagree, but I think we should be looking at the right mailer. Anyway, questions again, page 3, you've got a number of rents. 743 Corridon, this is a strip mall with parking up front, correct?
My presentation, I mentioned, I did not go through all the comparables. I did not check which unit has the parking or not, because I only focus the units facing on Corridon Street, and rental rate is range. That's all I focus. If you go through all those comparables, if you ask me about, do you know this lot has the parking, or do you know this parking lot has the parking? I don't know the answer. I did not take those information.
Well, if you don't know, then why did you use them as comparables?
But as my common sense, I know most of the academy, Corridon Street, most of the units does not have parking. Most of those on the facing Corridon does not have enough parking. They park in the Corridon Street or back lane. That's all I know.
Okay, and the other units, rents you have are between 1670 and 1800 Corridon. That is a significantly different neighborhood than this part of Corridon, isn't it?
I don't believe so.
Well, isn't 1800 Corridon, I'm just trying to remember this, isn't this out near Grant? Are you aware where it is on Corridon?
What's the relevant for this presentation?
I just asked you, are you aware that it's near Grant? Oh, wow.
Okay. Are there any other questions about Ms. Tenawara's presentation? And I guess you can, in your presentation, Mr. Neufeld, if you want, you can address the location.
Yeah, okay. No, and I understand now. No, I guess that's all the questions. I have for rebuttal sent the actual mailer that the assessor did not present to you. And I'll.
Well, this is still, questions for the assessor on.
No more questions then.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, any questions for the assessor?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hutchings.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. To the assessor, I am trying to compare your original workup with your revised workup on the other document.
Okay.
So I just want to confirm, starting with the original submission, workup on page 4. So could you please confirm the blended rental rate on the original submission?
Okay, sure. $18.92 using only for the main floor area.
Well, on your original submission, you're using 3,254 square feet.
Yeah,
And the potential rent is 43,524.
that's right.
So what is
That's
your
right.
blended?
That's how that's the original valuation went out, assessment went out. Then because this is the single tenant unit that tenant using the main floor and the basement.
Right,
And they are reported as only the main floor rents. Then it's kind of basement is kind of the place they use, no matter what, who is the tenant, they use the basement. I only use the main floor for my presentation. If I only use the main floor rents, the main floor rent will be $18.92.
no,
That's the original.
I'm sorry, I'm asking you, your workup shows 43,524, and it includes 3,254 square feet,
That's right.
which is a
That's right.
blended rate of $13.38. Is that fair?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's right. But
No, that's all I'm asking. I'm looking at your workup here. I'm
Okay.
trying to determine what you revised. And then 6% vacancy, 3% expenses, and then a cap rate of 7.0%. So that's the original submission. For revision, we go to the next docket and we look at your recommended workup. Just bear with me. And in this one, you're still using 3,254 square feet, but with a potential rent of 37,705,
that's right.
which gives us a blended rate of 1159. Would that be accurate?
That is right. Yes,
Okay. And then you've changed the capitalization rate from 7.0 to 7.25%.
that's right.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a clear picture of what you've
Sure.
revised and the numbers you've used, which comes up with a recommendation of $455,000.
That's right.
So everything, okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I have no questions for you. So, Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your presentation.
Oh, thanks. I'm gonna find my screen again here. So I did send in the mailer that it should have been supplied. And I don't know if this fits the definition of rebuttal for the assessor failing to present the right mailer. And I'm gonna give it to you verbally anyway. But because the irony, I hope it's not lost on you, is that we put in the wrong mailer too.
If I may interrupt, may we have a 1-minute recess while I fetch the prints for
Sure.
the assessor for the rebuttal?
Of course.
No, it's
No, he submitted new rebuttal. I've placed it in the SharePoint, but you don't have access to that yet.
okay.
This is the new mailer he was referring to.
Okay.
Is that Madam Chairperson? Is that acceptable or?
Oh, sorry, I was just reading. If it's rebuttal.
It's the mailer that he was referring to.
But it has he includes in his briefs and the same mailer, and it's not a. I have it.
Do you? Okay, if you have it, then
Mr. Neufeld, is this the mail? Because there is a mailer in your brief.
Oh, the mailer in our brief is for the neighboring property.
Mailer is in your brief is the incorrect mailer.
That's
Oh, it's wrong
correct.
address.
So we both submitted the wrong mailer. So
Oh,
again,
okay.
it's the board's call if you think this is rebuttal or not.
Perhaps we will just discuss it for 1 minute. So if we can
recess.
recess, please.
Okay. We're live.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. The board has discussed it, and we are going to allow the income and expense mailer as it is the correct mailer for this property. So, Mr. Neufeld, you're on mute, so please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you. And I'm feeling better if that really matters.
Well, that's good. We're all glad to hear that. Okay.
All those recesses are great. The property is a florist shop, and particularly hard hit in COVID. One of their main business are wedding and funerals, which didn't happen. The rent that we've applied, as you can see from the mailer, the correct mailer is not actually the correct rent either. On the page 1, if you go to page 2 of the mailer, that is the correct rent, and it's what the assessor had provided. It's $32.50 for base rent plus $12,000 a year for participation for recoveries. That's $51,000 a year in gross income. The expenses then are stated on the first page at $30,000, and the $30,000 included maintenance and repair of $12,699, which there were some one-time expenses in there. So the actual income on the page 1 at $42,000 was calculated to take out the rent abatement given to the tenant, but then there was not a corresponding, but there was a partial credit. It's not a full credit on the rent abatement. I think it's goes up to 75% of the rent can be covered by the rental assistance program. So the actual net income was not the 51,000, but it was not 42,000 either. So rather than debate this point, I have reworked the numbers on the actuals, and I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. But on my page 1, you can see that we had put in.
Sorry, this is in your brief.
In my brief, yes, that's correct.
Give us a minute to get there, please. Okay, is everybody there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry, please proceed, Mr. Neufeld.
So the bottom row shows the 42,925, and then the 51,000, which is the face rate, and expenses of 30,000, and that's right from the mailer. That was from the correct mailer. We just didn't insert the right one. The correction I've made is I'm going to use 51,000 for the income, because that is the face rate, and there were partial reimbursements. Still not 51,000, but it's 1 year out of 2 years, 3 years. So we're stabilizing. And the expenses, I've reduced the repair expenses after consulting with the owner yesterday. The actual number should be 24,863. Take off some of the one-time expenses. That leaves the potential income at $26,137 rather than our $20,000. 26,137 is potential. The rest of the parameters that we put in, you'll note we used a lower vacancy rate, which is should be attributed to Corridon. It does have a good rate, but we put in non-recoverables, and we've also put in a higher shortfall, which is actually a mistake. What I've done is just change all those to the assessor's parameters, and the value didn't change because some of our numbers were higher, some of those were lower. So our NOI is now $23,749. 3,749, and the difference is only on the income. We're using our income, by the way, is $11.36 a square foot, and that's only applied to the upper level. The basement is included in the rent, and of course, it's not rentable on its own. It's included in the total rent. You could put the extra square footage on, but all that will do is drive the value lower. because the income does not go up, the shortfall does. So that I felt wasn't fair. So we're at, like I said, 23,749, and I noticed in the assessor's recommendation a 7.25% cap rate. We're not in disagreement with that. And so our value is 327,572, rounded to 328,000. And that is a decrease from the previous year, a small decrease. And that is attributable to a business that was harder hit by COVID, and the owner had a very interesting philosophy on COVID in that they preferred to give rent abatements and keep their tenants instead of letting them go away and finding a new tenant. And it's I think it's admirable. They were pure abatements. They weren't they actually cut the rent. They didn't adjust it, defer it. So, but that's old style Winnipeg property management. We'd rather be full and make less money when we have a tragedy than take a chance on something else. You're a good tenant. You've been with us for years, and I think that's a reflection of what we should have been looking at in our 2-year assessment cycle. We got a bad 2 years. Some properties are going to go down, and if there was one you could pick on other than restaurants, it had to be somebody who sells flowers for weddings and funerals. That's our. I hope we haven't been too confusing, but actual income, and we used all the rest of the assessor's parameters, and that's 328,000. That's my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Tenawara, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld on his evidence?
Okay, I have one question.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Mr. Neufeld, you have submitted a new income expenses mirror. I prefer you can go to the 12 months ending page. That's the page with the breakdown of rental rents. You believe academic florists lease start in 2013 May 1st?
Yes, I'm looking at it.
Is that the rent start date, the lease start date?
Yes.
Okay, they pay month to month rent, right?
That's their term, yes.
Okay, and what is the the rental rates when you calculated using the per square feet?
The annual gross rent is $51,000.
No, I asked they pay $3,250 per month. Is that right?
That's the base rent. That's $39,000 a year.
Okay, what they pay for $12,000 as the annual general admin recoveries? What did this cover?
They have a $12,000 cost recovery, so it's $1,000 a month. That's what it's based on. So this is a semi-gross rent. As you can see from the statements, the expenses in that particular year were $30,000, and so they're recovering $12,000 of that.
That's all my question. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, do you have any questions for Mr. Neufeld?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchings.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Neufeld, what is the basement used for? Do you know?
Yeah, it's the florist stores their supplies down there, cartons, boxes. I think there's a bit of fertilizer down there, and some tools. I'm wondering, I haven't been in there for years, and when I was there, I thought I saw some bulbs for flowers, but that was a few years ago.
Okay, thank you. And just to go through, I'm going to ask you to review the page 1 submission, revised submission that you presented verbally. So you're using your revised is 2,300 square feet at a rate of 1106 equals 26,127.
No, 1136, 26,137. Yes.
11. Okay. $11.36, my mistake. Okay. And then you said you're using the assessor's parameters, so you're using 6% vacancy now,
Correct.
and expenses at 3%.
Correct.
Shortfall would be revised to 7,
That's correct.
and resulting in an NOI of 23,749,
Yes.
capped at 7.25% equals $328,000.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. And any comparables in your brief at all?
Just taking a look. There are a number of comparables in and around the area. You can see that, for example, I quoted 743 Corden like the assessor did. That's a strip mall. This is a storefront, and they are getting better rents in there than the storefront would. But that's not a comparable. Just looking here. Academy at the bottom. These are 2 units on same company's property on Academy. Smith Agency. These are theirs as well, and they had 2 units, one at $13 and one at $8.50, and they started earlier, just like the subject, and then they're done on a year-to-year basis, and these are the latest rents that they charged.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. My questions have been answered. Thank you very much. Is there a need for a summary from either party?
I don't need a summary. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we adjourn this hearing, Ms. Tenawara, when we were addressing number 2 on the docket, 939 Notre Dame, I believe we forgot to ask you to read in the roll number. So if you could please do that.
Read the roll number.
Read the roll number on 939 Notre Dame Avenue, which was number 2.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
To do that, please.
Property address 939 Notre Dame Avenue, roll number 130602930006.
Okay, thank you very much for assisting us with that.
Thank you.
All right, I believe we have heard all the items scheduled, and this hearing is now adjourned. So have a nice weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about my confusion about this submitting a mix and match brief for the first one. It's totally a mistake. It's doing a rough thing.
No problem. Mistakes happen. Everybody makes. Okay.